24 minutes for the Rays to finally prevail over the Orioles. Fast forward 11 hours later, and it's Game 2 of the series as we head out to St. Petersburg.
I'm Chris Archer of the Tampa Bay Rays. Last night, 593 pitches were thrown in the game, and I didn't get to throw any. Today is Game 2 of the Rays and Orioles on Fox Saturday Baseball.
With only 9 games remaining, they all matter. Every pitch, every inning, every ball game for both of these teams as the Orioles try to find a spot in the wild card. Tampa Bay trying to hang on to theirs. Right now, Tampa Bay's, they're up by a half game over Cleveland. Those are the 2 wild card teams at the moment. Texas has dropped out of that second spot, and the Orioles find themselves tied with Kansas City, 2.5 games behind in the wild card. With Tom Benucci, I'm Gary Thorne. Welcome, everybody. For the Orioles right now, Tom, it's about urgency. I mean, there is no time left. There's no time to wait till tomorrow.
That's absolutely right, but you're talking about a team that has relied on its everyday players more than anybody in baseball. 5 different players have played 150 games, and 4 of them really are struggling down here at the stretch. Manny Machado, Chris Davis, Adam Jones, and Nick Markakis, all under 250 this month. They need to find a second wind.
That won't be easy in this ball game because for Tampa Bay, coming off the long night, they've got a starter in Alex Cobb who they think can go deep into this ball game.
Yeah, and it's key to have someone give length as a starting pitcher coming off an 18-inning game. You mentioned it, Alex Cobb throwing the ball well, coming off a 10-strikeout game. And Gary, this season he started 12 times at home and is undefeated, 6-0.
So that's what the Orioles are up against over Tampa Bay. It's a chance to put a little more room between themselves and anybody else as far as that wild card's concerned. A major league record, 21 pitchers were used in the ball game last night. So for both of these managers today, please, in the name of the baseball gods, will the starters please go deep? Because otherwise, we're in trouble. Here's the starting lineup. It is brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live mas. For the Orioles, Nate McLeod, Manny Machado, Chris Davis, Adam Jones, Nick Markakis, and J.J. Hardy. Danny Valencia, Steve Clevenger is going to get the start behind the plate. Matt Wieters, their regular catcher, went the distance, 18 innings last night. So Wieters is out there. As Buck Showalter, who knows, along with his team, got to win. No room for losses the rest of the way.
Feels like we were just here.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about the Orioles having a tough part of their schedule. Don't forget, check this out. Thursday night they played in Boston and traveled here. Arrived at 3:30 in the morning at the hotel around 4 a.m. Teed up last night. First pitch, you see right there, 7-11. Last pitch almost 7 hours later. Turn it around, come back again. 11 hours to play baseball again. That is one tough schedule.
And they were pretty much exhausted coming in. I mean, a lot of the Oriole players were very tired, physically tired, just arriving here, much less after what happened last night.
Yeah, I think there's definitely is a physical toll for this team, hitting 237 this month. The only team in baseball with 5 different players that have played 150 games this year. We talked to Buck Showalter about possibly resting some of his main players today just to give them a one-day break. Can't do it. Too late in the season.
Pretty good story. You went to J.J. Hardy today as Hardy came in this morning, and he said, what do you think if I just rest most of the starters, put some guys in who don't play very much? And he said Hardy waited for a moment and looked at me and said, you want me to be really upset? Because that's the way we'll feel. He said, if you put guys in there who started and played last night and 4 or 5 of us aren't in there, we're going to feel like we're letting this ball club down. That's what he wanted to hear, so he kept most of the starters in except for Wieters.
Yeah, that did not surprise Buck Showalter coming from a guy like J.J. Hardy. You know, if it's July, Gary, you probably give 2 or 3 guys the day off, but you're 2.5 games back with 9 to play. It's all hands on deck no matter how tired you are.
This is when you hear that favorite term, sleep is overrated. Here are the Ford keys to the game.
Well, for the Orioles, I mean, listen, the bullpen tax last night. They want a short bridge to get from Miguel Gonzalez to Jim Johnson, their closer. Innings from the starting pitcher will be huge in this game today. And for the Rays, turn that long night into some momentum. They have alternated wins and losses for 7 consecutive games. So they need to string something together. A 2-game winning streak feels like momentum at this point of the wild card race.
This has been a real chase, this American League wildcard situation where teams, most of them except for Cleveland and Kansas City, have not done very well down the stretch here. They're playing .500. Here is a starter who may very well take this Tampa Bay Rays team deep today.
Yeah, you see his numbers right there. Very good lately. 10 strikeout game in his last start. Downward trend. Everything that he throws, sinker, splitter, a lot of splitters, and the curveball, he wants downward action on all of them. If he's on, you'll see a lot of ground balls. And he is right at home. No question about that. 6-0 this year and 12 starts at home. His last 17 in this building, he is 10-1.
Cobb's got a 1-0 record against the Orioles this season, 2-0 lifetime against them. Defensively, you get 2 of the best defenses in the league. The Jesus Jennings and the rookie Will Myers in the outfield. Longoria, Escobar has been sensational. Zobrist, Mr. Everything for this ball club. Loney over at first base. Molina, who came out late in the ball game last night, took a real tough shot off the mask, and then later in the game, one that went right off his wrist. But Joe Madden said today, I talked to him. He said he's ready to go, so he's in there.
He only caught half the game last night.
Come on.
Just 9 innings.
Yeah, come on. All right, we are ready to get this ball game rolling, so grab some buds and enjoy. Our opening pitch brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. So let's see how this plays. You never know after a ball game like last night, almost 7 hours, where in the most part all these players who were in the ball game today played last night. How will they come out for this game? Will there be early swings? Will they have lost some patience? I mean, both teams, these games are absolutely vital. You can't just say, well, we're going to come out, just play this game, and then come back tomorrow, we'll get back to business. It's got to be business right here today. Yeah,
that's why I think the focus will be there. Physically, that's another question. You know, outside of their routines, a lot of guys just showed up an hour before this first pitch.
Yep. Managers didn't want them coming here early. Just wanted them to rest. Here is Nate McLeod, the starter in left field, will lead it off against Cobb. And the delivery will be taken up high for a ball, and we are underway. Has played left field most of the season and was platooned in the first half. Second half, McLeod has played against both righties and lefties. He's in an 0 for 12 slump right now. That'll go to first base. Loney's there. Easy tag, one down.
Well, that's that split from Cobb, and you try to pull that pitch, you'll see a lot of ground balls to the weak side there.
He has an amazing 72% percentage of outs coming on ground balls. Now, because he missed time on the DL, he does not qualify for the leaders in pitchers. If he did, he would have the highest ground ball percentage in the majors. That's one of the reasons Joe Madden was saying today, I got to keep my regular starters in, especially in the infield. I got a ground ball pitcher on the mound. I've got to have my best defense in that infield ready to get the job done. And the pitcher, we take it inside. Here's Manny Machado. The Orioles' third baseman had a 1 for 7 in the extended affair last night. Tampa Bay leads in the season series 10 games to 6 against the Orioles, so they have guaranteed themselves a season series win against Buck Showalter's ball club. Orioles 81 and 72 on the year, while Tampa Bay is 84 and 69. Cobb with a 2-ball 1-strike count. Everybody straight away, infield and outfield. Set up outside Molina. Pitch came back in and up high, and a 3-ball 1-strike count.
A little bit of rare patience here from Manny Machado. 1 walk in his last 21 games, and like a lot of Orioles struggling this month, hitting 182 in September.
And the 3-1 delivery to him, and he is going to draw a walk. And you saw him draw his hand back. Manny Machado, that's a pitch that he's going to be a little jumpy on, because last night the Orioles were really worried. Watch this in last night's game. When you see a pitch like that come in and go off the hand, get all those little bones that can be broken, and the Orioles were really concerned that they might have lost him. Fortunately, they did not. He's back.
Yeah, that can be scary, especially with a guy like Jake McGee throwing it up there at 96, 97.
So the Orioles get a runner on. Cobb has walked only 42 on 128 innings worked this season. Here is Chris Davis, the major league leader in home runs. He will take the pitch for a strike. Davis had a 1 for 6 in the ball game last night.
You will see a lot of shifts in this game. No teams shift more than do the Orioles and the Rays. Very interesting to see if Davis does hit a ground ball to second base, how Escobar might turn a double play.
That has been the tricky part with these shifts for the infielders this season. Oftentimes you have the third baseman comes across the bag at second to start the double play.
Yeah, it was interesting. They had Longoria rolled up on no strikes defending against the bunt. Now you see with 1 strike he moves back, and now he can turn the double play.
Davis with a 2-strike count. Throw over will get Manny Machado back. Chris Davis has a 1 for 5 lifetime against the 25-year-old right-hander Cobb. Davis with runners on this year, hitting .319 with 22 home runs. He has not only been an impact player in the sense that the numbers are big, but they've been big hits. 23 of his 51 homers have either tied or given the Orioles the lead. He's third right now in game-winning RBIs. I mean, it's not just a numbers season, it's an important numbers season for Chris Davis. 0-2 count.
Though they shift on the infield, Gary, he uses the entire outfield. Yet we play him pretty much straight up in the outfield.
And that pitch is just going to miss. Molina held it for a minute. Cobb thought he might have put that one in.
Yeah, he tries to backdoor a curveball right here. Watch Molina try to frame it and steal it. He's as good as there is in the business, but that one he had to bring in a little too far.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 down. Orioles trying to jump out, get an early lead, which could matter in this ball game. And again, the throw over. Now, Cobb is a pitcher that base stealers have had good luck against. They are 11 for 15 stealing bases when Cobb is on the mound. Molina's got a real good arm, 29% throwing him out. Machado has not been somebody who has done a lot of running this season for the Orioles. Ground ball, slow one, charging Zobrist. Only play is going to be at first. And quickly Longoria goes to third. Manny Machado, realizing that the third baseman Longoria was playing near second, made a big turn at second base just in case he forgot to get over there, try and pick up an extra base. But
as a base runner, you really have to anticipate that, really bust it, and think about going to third, because you can beat the third baseman there if he delays even a heartbeat. Longoria got over there and covered third base just in time.
Good job by Longoria to make sure that didn't happen. So the Orioles will get their first chance with a runner in scoring position here in the ball game, and Adam Jones, their cleanup batter, coming up. Adam hitting .342 with 4 home runs against Tampa Bay this season. He and Matt Wieters have had 2 of the best numbers against the Rays in the season series. And the pitch will be taken inside for a ball. The Orioles in the opener last night ended up with a 3 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Markakis on deck. Both of these teams in the month of September have had trouble getting runners in. They've gotten them on the bases in scoring position. Both have struggled in these kinds of at-bats. And Jones will take it. It's inside. Cobb not real happy on a couple of calls here in the first inning. That was one of them. He thought he should have picked up a strike. Didn't get it.
Well, again, good patience by a very aggressive hitter in Adam Jones. Orioles last in the American League in taking walks, but so far today they're making Cobb throw the ball over the plate.
2-0 count with 2 down. And Jones, that one's in the dirt. It'll be blocked by Molina, so Jones gets ahead on the count. 3-0.
Yeah, you see him go to the split here on a 2-0 count. Ball hits off the plate. Molina does a nice job getting his big body in front of that baseball.
They thought they were going to lose Molina last night. We talked about that foul ball that hit his mask. The trainer came out twice worried about concussion problems as he took one squarely in the front of that mask. 3-0 count, 2 down, runner off second. See if he swings here. 3-0. He doesn't have to. So that's inside, and Cobb has walked 2 here in the first inning. Tom, the other thing we should mention here, with the Orioles showing a little patience taking pitches, for both of these teams, they want to get to the other team's bullpen as fast as they can because there's not much left.
Yeah, and you know, this time of year, Gary, normally as a manager, you're very aggressive going to your bullpen. We saw Buck Showalter get his bullpen up last night, 4 batters into the game. But I think because the bullpens were taxed last night, as a manager, you have to be careful you're not too quick today. So you're absolutely right. Try to get a lead early, get into that bullpen as quickly as possible, even more so in a game like today.
And Nick Markakis in the dirt. Again, Molina will block, and Cobb's having some problems here early on, finding that release zone and the strike zone as he falls behind Markakis 1-0. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, he'll do a lot of pacing today. 11 pitches were used by Tampa Bay last night, 10 by the Orioles. Molina's going to go out, just try and settle him down.
It doesn't seem like he's got command of any one particular pitch, the sinker, the split, or the curve quite yet. You know, you bat to Jones, I think you're right. I think they would have let him swing at 3-0. So I think Cobb was obviously aware first base was open. You don't want to give in on a pitch. You can understand that walk, but right here does not want to get behind, and already has, to Nick Markakis.
Manny Machado, lead runner at second base. Jones on at first. This road trip that the Orioles are on, they've won 4, lost 3. They've hit only .228 with runners in scoring position as a team. And Markakis will take it. It is in there for a strike. For much of the year, the Orioles have been in the top 3 with runners in scoring position overall. They've dropped to 6th because of the struggles they have had this month trying to get these runners in.
That was a split that got a lot of the plate. Markakis probably looking fastball there to let that one go by with the runner in scoring position.
1 ball, 1 strike count with 2 down. That's going to be down low. That split's just falling off the table and bouncing a little bit, and the count goes to 2-1. Cobb already a new career high in strikeouts, 118. Keep in mind that The 25-year-old ended up taking a line drive. The head kept him out on the DL with a concussion. 7 starts since returning, 3-1, 3.05 ERA. 2 ball, 1 strike delivery, and Markakis will take it. It's on the inside corner, 2-2.
Now this is where Cobb really likes to go to that split. 2 strike counts to get the hitter to chase, started at the knees and let it fall below the strike zone.
Markakis has seen Cobb at only 3 at-bats, 0 for 3 against him. 2-2 delivery, and got him. Molina will apply the tag, and here's another one of those situations where the runners are left on. We'll take a look at the Tampa Bay lineup coming back. Petersburg, and the Rays starting lineup brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. David DeJesus, Desmond Jennings, Ben Zobrist, Evan Longoria, Will Myers, Delman Young, James Loney, Jose Molina, and Yunel Escobar, the starting 9 against Miguel Gonzalez.
And Miguel Gonzalez is a guy who'll give you a lot of different looks, a lot of different speeds, but to me it all goes back to his fastball. Pinpoint command of that fastball is what he relies on, both sides of the plate. And once he does that, that begins to open up the bottom of the strike zone for his splitter, slider, and curveball. And he's much better early. Hitter's hitting .213 against him first time around. Second time it goes up to .268. Third time it goes up to .286 with a .578 slugging percentage. Keep an eye on that as he gets to the middle innings.
And DeJesus, David DeJesus will lead it off. He had the night to remember. He got the base hit in the 18th inning, driving in Jennings for what proved to be the game-winning run in the 5-4 victory last night. A big night. He went 4 for 8. Played the entire game, 2 RBIs, and in the leadoff spot as he is for the ball game today. He faces Gonzalez for the first time in his career. And he drills it. That is way back in right center field. Warning track hauled in. Good run down by Adam Jones as that one was stung.
Adam Jones got a really good jump on this ball. He's got this measured the entire time. He's blowing bubbles on the way there. He was never worried. Sure, Miguel Gonzalez might have, leaving that pitch up. DeJesus put a good swing on it.
And you've asked, how can he catch a fly ball when he's blowing bubbles? He has no answer because he doesn't even know he does it.
He's a multitasker.
A multitasker. There you go. A modern man. Here's Jennings. Jennings ended up with a 2 for 4. He didn't even come into the ball game last night till the 9th inning. Kind of funny. He was in the original lineup and was supposed to bat second. late, just before the game started, he came out with neck stiffness. Then he ends up playing virtually an entire game, going from the 9th through the 18th.
Yeah, it's just funny. Joe Madden said the trainers came to him about the 7th inning and said, Desmond's okay to go. He didn't waste any time getting into the game.
That was a single he picked up in the 9th inning on his first at bat. Jennings will take the Gonzalez pitch inside. He's had only 3 hits and 16 at bats off Miguel Gonzalez, but 2 of the 3 have been home runs. Desmond Jennings with Zobrist on deck. Gonzalez delivers to him, trying to go outside with it. That'll miss, and the count goes to 3-1. Orioles concerned about Gonzalez. He's had a groin problem here for the last couple of weeks. Says he's all right. It's acted up on him a little bit at times, so they're keeping a very close eye on him today. Came inside and didn't get the strike. Oh, the walk surrendered to Jennings with 1 away. Both teams, because of the ball game last night, added players today. Jeff Bellevue, a left-hander, was called up by Tampa Bay. Joe Madden says, I've never met him. Never seen him pitch.
He had trouble recalling his first name.
He did. It's that time of year. The Orioles called up left-hander Zach Britton and Mike Belfiore, another left-hander. 2 lefties added to the bullpen for the Orioles. Here is Zobrist. Runner at first base and 1 down. And a swing and a foul ball. That one cued right off the end of the bat.
You know, it's interesting. The Orioles complex, the minor league complex, is just down the road in Sarasota. And Buck Showalter was actually wondering during the course of the game last night if he could make a call to have somebody come up from Sarasota for the game last night. Like ordering out for Chinese or for pizza.
Send somebody up here.
Give me a right-hander. Hold the anchovies.
We still didn't get an answer to that. He didn't know, and we don't know whether or not you can actually do that. Can you change the roster after the game has started? Ball's going to be popped up. Here, Manny Machado with a got it, and Zobrist is retired. 2 down. Jennings will stay at first base.
Now, the only reason I would think that would not be allowable, even though the guy might still be on the 40-man roster, name would not be on the lineup card that is handed to the umpires before the start of the game.
Yep. I would think that would certainly be the case. Otherwise, you could really end up with some crazy situations in games where you had a local. Checking the card right now. You had, as the Orioles do, spring training site close. You got players down there in instructional league this time of the year. You can call up all kinds of folks during a ball game. It's only an hour's ride. 2 down. Infield shift put on the other way against Longoria. And the pitch will be taken away. Go over the Skyline Bridge. Beautiful bridge here that takes you over the bay from Tampa to the other side. And you don't have to go very far, and you're in Sarasota, where the Orioles have their spring training. 1-0 count, 2 down. Longoria, the 5 for 14 against Gonzalez, lifetime with a homer. And he'll take the pitch inside. Homers have not been coming of late for the third baseman, the rookie waiting on deck. Longoria has had only 1 home run in his last 25 ball games, and in fact hitting only 172 over his last 6. Jennings with a lead at first, 2 down. Gonzalez with a breaking ball, good wrinkle on that one, and a 2-1 count.
You'll see the defense once again. The Orioles swung all the way around on Longoria. See Casilla there, the second baseman, especially on a hitter's count, may take a couple of steps over to his right.
2-1 delivery, and that's going to miss inside. Tampa Bay Rays, one of the reasons they're in the wild card spot, they're 36-31 against the East. And Longoria is one of the reasons for that. He's put up a .305 average with 20 home runs against the American League East, which is considered so tough. So he's been one of their leading hitters in the tough games within the division this year. Runner goes 3-1, and that's going to be outside and high for a ball.
Well, you can tell right away that pinpoint command of the fastball not there from Miguel Gonzalez. Guy had no walks in his previous 2 starts. But you can see he's going to the fastball, but not getting it where he wants.
So Will Myers, the rookie, will come to the plate with 2 on and 2 down. Myers ended up with some of the unfortunate distinctions in the ball game last night. He went 0 for 8 as the DH. First time in the history of the Rays to go hitless in 8 or more at bats for any of their players. And Myers had a hit streak coming in to that ball game last night. 2 on, 2 down. So both teams have picked up 2 walks in the first inning. Identical innings to this point.
Scoring position chances. Been the story of September for both of these teams. They get plenty of chances, just don't cash in on them enough.
Garcia will try and hold the lead runner Jennings a bit tight at second base. 1-0 delivery. And the fastball, that's there. That's going to be the high strike. Gun goes to 1-1 on Myers.
Yeah, we saw Nick Markakis take strikes down the middle of the plate in hitters counts with runners in scoring position. And right there, Will Myers let one go by. Hitters count, runner in scoring position.
Done a good job with that for the ball club this year. 308 in these situations for the rookie. Here's the 1-1 delivery to him. Lashed foul. That one up and in, but he got out in front of it on an 82-mile-an-hour changeup. 1-2.
That's the split change. He leaves up and gets away with it. Certainly didn't want it up or in. Actually, it was bad enough, inside enough. Myers couldn't keep it fair.
Myers had his little free fall in August when he hit only 209. September, he's right back at it. 314 this month. 1-2 count, 2 down, 2 on, and a swing and a miss. So identical innings. 2 walks, and the final batter strikes out. Each team has already left 2 on. Oh, yes, we did. The game summary from last night in that 18-inning win with the Rays, getting it by a score of 5-4. Major League record 21 pitches, 593 combined pitches thrown took 6 hours 54 minutes, a franchise record for both teams in that regard.
Finally, David DeJesus, with his 4th hit of the night, provides the game winner. 21 consecutive turns at bat in this game before a run was scored there at the bottom of the 18th.
An amazing finish at a little after 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's what happens at 2 o'clock. Things get a little bit silly at that hour.
Get that part right. Boy, the bullpens last night, the Rays bullpen, 13 innings, 2 runs on 3 hits, and the Orioles bullpen, 12 1/3 innings, 2 runs on 8 hits. An amazing performance by both of those bullpens last night. So we go to the top of the 2nd inning. Here is J.J. Hardy, the Orioles shortstop, against Alex Cobb. That'll go to short. Escobar over. Got it? And the out.
Here you see Alex Cobb, when he delivers the baseball, he'll actually stop his delivery mid-leg kick and then go. He told me it started because he had a bad habit of rushing, of getting his body in front of his arm, and then his arm would try to catch up, and that would cause his pitches to flatten out. This is a reminder to stay over the rubber, stay balanced, and that creates more downward angle on his pitches. He did tell me also that it's actually become much more of a pause than it was previously. He didn't realize it until he started looking at some old videos not that long ago, and realized that what became a brief pause now has become a full stop before he delivers the ball to the plate. And that can be unnerving for a hitter.
Trying to get a rhythm as a hitter to time the pitcher. You're right, Tom.
That's exactly right. And that's, Adam Wainwright does a better job of that than any pitcher in baseball. He changes the time of his windup to home plate like nobody else. And Alex now has started thinking about doing that intentionally because he does understand hitters don't like it.
0-2 delivery. Danny Valencia, did he go? He tried to hold up. I think he went. Home plate umpire Mike Everett made the call himself, and the tag put on. So Valencia, the DH, is retired. Couple of strikeouts picked up by Cobb. Today's telecast is sponsored by the 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost, and by Taco Bell's new fiery Doritos Locos Taco. Live Mas.
That's the breaking ball here from Cobb. You mentioned it, career high in strikeouts for Alex Cobb. A lot of these, not just the split, but that spike breaking ball where he's got one of his fingers up off the baseball, and really saw that when he's way ahead on the count. Doesn't need to throw it near the strike zone.
This is Steve Clevenger, is doing the catching today for the Orioles. He's a player added to the roster when they expanded. It is only the 2nd game that he has appeared in for the Orioles. Came back from AAA Norfolk. He'd been acquired in a deal that involved Scott Feldman coming over to the Orioles, and Arrieta and Strope going the other way to the Cubs. And a swing and a miss. So this is a very important ball game, obviously, for the Orioles, and a big chance for him. Wieters could not come back after last night. Showalter showing enough confidence in this veteran who's appeared now in 80 major league games over his career to call this ball game. And I asked when we were down there, Tommy, I asked Buck Showalter, I wondered who's going to call this game. Is it going to be John Russell, the bench coach, a former catcher, or is it going to be Clevenger who's doing the work behind the plate? He said, no, it's our catcher. He's going to call the game.
Yeah, he actually has a lot of pro experience, not a lot of major league experience, but 27 years old. Welcome to the pennant race.
Yeah. 1-2 delivery on the way, and a chopper to second base. Obrist has got it, and that's a clean inning. Cobb sets him down. A 1-2-3 inning and a half gone. No score. the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buzz. Little onshore breeze. About 90 degrees outside, 72 here inside the Trop. Late summer day. There's the wild card race. 9 games left for Tampa Bay and the Orioles, including this one. Cleveland moving into that spot that Texas is now vacated.
Indians in playoff position for the first time since the middle of May. As much as the Rays had to play last night to win a ball game, 18 innings, Cleveland only needed to play 7. Thanks to the rain in Cleveland.
That was a surprise, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, they'll take that one. Fouled off. Here is Delman Young. Young is the designated hitter. He had only one at bat coming in late in the ball game last night. Texas, the free fall. They had a 2-game lead over Oakland in the West early September. That is all gone, as now they're battling for the wild card spot. Texas 4-14 this month. Loney waiting on deck. Delman Young, veteran, acquired after he'd been designated for assignment by Philadelphia in August. The Rays signed him to a minor league deal. 27 years old with major league experience. With the expanded roster, called up to the major league team. He's 28 years old now in Montgomery, Alabama. He will foul that one back. 1 ball, 2 strike count on Young.
And he is in the lineup as a tribute to the split of Miguel Gonzalez. Normally you would think you'd have a left-handed hitter in there as the DH against the right-hander Gonzalez, but Joe Madden looked at his splits and said, I'd rather have Delman Young, right-hander, against the right-hander.
And a swing and a foul ball off that split right there. Young holds the count at 1-2. For Gonzalez, there hasn't been much difference. The lefty's 258, righty's 250. The difference comes in the long ball. Right-handers have hit 16 home runs and only 7 for the lefties. Clevenger gets the sign, moves outside. 1-2 came back in. Fair ball. That's going to go into foul territory. Nate McLouth going over to get it. And for Joe Madden, the decision that Tom was just talking about pays dividends in the first at bat for Delman Young.
And you saw the sequence of signs as this ball goes right over the bag and fair ball down the line. You get it by Manny Machado, that means nobody could make the play. He's as good as there is at third base. You saw Clevenger go through 3 signs and took him the 4th sign before he got the nod from Miguel Gonzalez. And that's part of the difficulty when you've got a tandem out there working together for the first time.
So a couple hundred of those 2 baggers, and Delman Young on at second base. That'll bring James Loney up. Loney, the first baseman. He had an 0 for 4 in the ball game last night. Now another runner in scoring position. Both teams have had chances here early in the ball game to get a run in. Fouled right straight back. Had one to jump on right there.
Yeah, and this is certainly an at-bat where batting average with runners in scoring position does not define the job. His job here is get the runner to third base no matter how he does it. Easy 4-3. He'll go back to the dugout to some high fives.
Hardy holding the runner at second, Delman Young. And the 0-1 delivery on the way to Loney. Loney has a unique distinction in that he's a much better hitter on the road than he is here at the Trop. He's hitting .351. That's a great average on the road. A .242 average here at home. It has been the largest differential in the American League for most of this season. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery to it. And again, right straight back, 1-2.
A couple of good swings with the balls fouled straight back. Up the fastballs. Loney's a tough guy to put away. 7th highest contact rate in the American League. Still trying to get that ball to the right side of the field, even with 2 strikes.
At least get the runner, Delman Young, moved up. Molina waiting on deck. Gonzalez with a 1-2 delivery again. Down to first. That's going to be off the end of the bat foul. And the count will stay at a ball and 2 strikes. Keep an eye on those pitch counts. Gonzalez is up to 30. That's 30 pitches to get 3 outs. J.J. Hardy almost standing in the bag with Young at second now, trying to keep him close out there. Now backs off the 1-2 delivery outside. And it's 2-2.
He's gone soft the last couple of pitches. Sometimes that can speed up the bat of a left-handed hitter, and it does produce the ground ball to second base. But Loney has had good swings off the fastball in this at bat.
2-ball, 2-strike count. Nobody out. Loney will pop it up. Silo shot. Clevenger doesn't know where it is. Can he get there? Oh, nice play. And that's Gonzalez acting as the navigator for his catcher, because he had no idea where that ball went.
Boy, it helps to have a co-pilot, doesn't it? Because Clevenger, watch Clevenger, when this ball goes up in the air, he has no idea where it is. Where is it, guys? Gonzalez shouting and pointing, and he's got time to get back there and find it. This is a very difficult place to track a pop-up with the light-colored roof here. That's, if you don't see it quickly, it's hard to even pick it up if you don't see it at first glance. Nice job by Clevenger to find that baseball.
So they get the out. Runner remains at second base. And here is Jose Molina. He had a 2 for 3 in the ball game last night. He gets the opportunity. Delman Young still out there at second base. 1 down. In the air, pop up, second base, Casilla. Mercy. Can anybody get a hit with a runner in scoring position? Mike Everett, our home plate umpire. He's got the mic on today.
Hi, Clive. How are you, brother? I'm mic'd up today.
Are you?
Oh, yeah. So I just let you know. All right. We're doing all right. No, yeah, we're doing fine.
All right, good.
Part of it.
It was a long game.
Yes, it was. Tough.
I thought 9, but
It was a tough ones to work, man. But hey, they're all good.
it was a good game.
Living, breathing, walking.
It's pretty good.
It's better than the alternative. Good line.
2 down. Runner at second base. Ground ball to third. Manny Machado's got it off the bat of Escobar, and they cannot get a hit with a runner in scoring position. 3 chances in this inning, 0 for 3. A runner left on at second will return to Tampa Bay after a word from your local Fox station.
Check out that record since last August. That's August of last year. 16-4 with that sparkling 3.05 ERA. Once again, his last 17 starts at home, he's lost only once. I asked him about that, Gary. That's not one of the creature comforts of home. That's just the creature. He really likes the mound here. He said the grounds crew does a great job with the mound, and he especially likes the fact that the bullpen mound is exactly the same as the game mound. That's not always the case. There's a certain park, I won't mention its name, but it's in Boston, that's notorious for having a visiting bullpen mound that's not quite as good as the game mound.
Kind of like Dodger Stadium in the era of Drysdale and Koufax, and that mound that used to be talked about. Mounds vary. I mean, you're absolutely right, Tom. They don't get talked about a lot, but pitchers talk about it amongst themselves. They all have their favorites, and you got to believe that makes a big difference. Comfortable. And that is in there for a strike. Casilla getting the start at second base. He's had a goodly number of starts. Brian Roberts did not return until the second half of the season. He's played regularly in the second half of the Orioles at second, but he went the distance in the ball game last night. So Casilla is getting the start in this game. He played in Boston, came on as a pinch runner, did not have a bat and at bat. It's the last time he's been in a ball game for the Orioles. 1-2 delivery, and that will be taken inside, and the count will go to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Casilla, switch hitter, 227 right, 209 left. Game number 61 for him, his 110th at bat. Alexei Casilla will take it off the plate. It's not as though either of these pitchers is on early in the ball game. They're both still kind of feeling their way along with their pitches and trying to find the strike zone. It hasn't hurt them. 3-2 delivery, and Casilla goes down.
This is a pitch that's really made Alex Cobb a different pitcher. The two-seam fastball comes back over the plate. You see the way Casilla throws his hands up as if that ball's going to hit him. In the past, Alex Cobb came up as a 4-seam fastball guy and really didn't have much to get in on the hands of left-handed hitters. He's established that two-seamer in on right-handers, and now that comeback two-seamer to left-handers. Really a devastating two-strike pitch.
That's where all those strikeouts were coming from. We've talked about career high now. He's up to 121.
Well, think about it. We've already seen the split on 2 strikes. We've seen the curveball, and now we've seen the comeback two-seamer.
And Nate McLeod, the leadoff batter, takes it away. Grounded out his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike count on McLeod, trying to get out of an 0 for 13 that he's in at the moment. The left fielder shift on against him, and Cobb will miss it. And for the last couple of seasons, what you were just talking about, Tom, there is no such thing anymore as the fastball count.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think we've seen him use those pitches, not just as put-away pitches, but any time in the count for Alex Cobb.
Virtually all pitchers now will throw anything in their repertoire on any given count, so it makes it that much more difficult for hitters. Used to be in a 3-1. Figure you're probably going to see a fastball from a fastball pitcher. Not anymore.
The other thing that's changed is the defense. Now we just watched Evan Longoria go from the left side of the field to the right side of the field. Escobar goes back to play a normal shortstop position. I mean, who knew for 100 years we had position players in the wrong places? It's only in the last 2 or 3 years we've figured out where they should be. Of course, that's based on a whole lot of data.
Every pitch, every game tracked as to what happens with the pitch. 2-2 delivery. McLeod will chop that one foul. That got him in the batter's box. A little bit of Molina, too. And it will stay at 2-2 in the Orioles leadoff batter.
Like Loney, McLeod, tough to put away. Good contact guy. Gets himself to another pitch.
There's a rare occurrence. A catcher asking a hitter if he's all right. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and that ball into the shift. That's why you do it. Gover's there to record the out, and there are 2 down here in the 3rd inning.
It's really become baseball like the NFL, where you have different defenses for down and distance. For baseball, it's not just the hitter, it's the count. It's count specific.
And time for the player profile, brought to you by AT&T, helping you do what you do even better. AT&T, rethink possible. Manny Machado, you see the most doubles as the third baseman. George Kell, the great Kell, 56. Jeff Cirillo with the Rockies, 53. Manny Machado has had a tremendous series. The number of doubles have fallen off a bit in the second half of the year. However, 51 two-baggers. And the pitch on the inside corner for a strike, so Cobb quickly gets ahead of it. Machado drew a walk. His first time up. 2 down, bases are empty, no score. Got him. Wow. And Detroit on that one. 4 strikeouts, 2 in the inning. Cobb retires the side in order. That's 7 in a row that he set down. And we go in the scoreless ball game to the bottom half of the third inning. So both teams leaving runners on. 3 have been left on by Tampa Bay. 2 of those in scoring position. The Orioles left a couple in the first inning. 1 in scoring position. Tampa Bay already 0 for 4 in those situations, and the Orioles 0 for 1. Miguel Gonzalez and David DeJesus at the plate at the top of the order. He flied out to center field his first time up. DeJesus, Jennings, and Zobrist due up against the Oriole right-hander. Gonzalez 1-1 this year, 2-2 lifetime against Tampa Bay, 7 career starts. Gonzalez has actually pitched really well here in the 3 starts at the Trop. He's got a 2-0 record and an ERA of .92, and the Rays have hit 141 against him in those games in this ballpark.
Just an amazing story, the way last year he became really probably the best pitcher, most consistent pitcher down the stretch in a pennant race after he went to spring training in minor league camp after getting signed in March.
And the pitch will be taken down low. Spent time in the Mexican League where he pitched and really thought he was never going to make it to the major league level.
The Orioles Director of International Scouting, Fred Ferreira, saw him pitch there. Signed him in March, sent him to minor league camp. And he's become a valuable piece in this rotation.
19-11 in his career. The off-speed delivery will miss. Does not get the call on that. And the count will go to 3-1. He retires 72% of leadoff batters, a good number. Rays did get a leadoff double in the second inning by Delman Young, but could not do anything with it. Cobb retires leadoff hitters 75% of the time. That's extraordinarily high. 3-1 delivery, foul back, full count.
That's so important. Of course, they always say baseball is a game of firsts. But when you turn each turn at bat into a 2-out opportunity instead of a 3-out opportunity as a pitcher, you're way ahead of the game.
He's got a 3-2 count here in this leadoff batter. David DeJesus. Full count pitch will come inside. There's the third walk he's surrendered. Between innings, we had a chance to talk to Buck Showalter and the Orioles manager. Let's listen. Buck, you were concerned a little bit about Gonzalez and that groin. How's it look so far?
Oh, well, let's don't jinx him.
Right.
So far, so good. No, it's there's always the unknown where there's a different pace and intensity of a game level. So, so far, so good. Tampa will let us know how it's doing, right?
Buck, you had a chance to punch a run through in that first inning. How frustrating has it been without getting those hits with runners in scoring position?
Well, it's not something you just dial up. We act like it's just easy. There's somebody out there. There's two ways to look at it. You got to do some things to put people on base. There were a lot of situations last night and tonight for both clubs already, but it's not quite as easy as it looks, guys.
Did you have a good night's sleep?
Hey, I don't have to play, Gary. There are people in Baltimore getting up and going to work tomorrow that think we got it real good, and we do have it real good. We travel well. We stay at nice places, so this is not nearly as challenging sometimes as we make it out to be compared to what a lot of other people have to do around our country. So let's play.
What's your line about hotels at the major league level?
I'm not sure.
Ever been in a bad one?
No, it's got ML next to it. We need to stop and go thank you and realize how lucky we all are.
Thank you. Buck Showalter. There's the double play as Jennings sits into it, 2 down.
Watch DeJesus get on top of Casilla pretty good right here. Gets a piece of him, but completes the double play. Nice secondary lead. This is hard September baseball.
Casilla never took his eye off the ball on that throw over to first base. And by doing that, helps guarantee himself that throw is going to get there where he wants it to be. So pitcher's best friend right there, and Casilla, who can turn him at second. 2 down, nobody on. Here's Zobrist. Popped out his first time up. 2 for 17 lifetime now off Gonzalez. And the pitch will be taken away. Zobrist has always been a very tough out for the Orioles. He's hitting .348 coming into this game against the O's on the year. A couple of home runs and 11 RBIs against the Orioles. That pitch is going to miss outside. Gonzalez, 2-ball, 1-strike count.
See the way Zobrist kind of buries that chin into his front shoulder. Reminds me of Matt Williams. It's kind of a reminder to stay closed against the right-handed here, but he really keeps that front side closed a long time. It's a very unusual swing. Let's call it that. Uses tremendous amount of top hand and finishes very low on his swing. Does not bring the bat up to his shoulders. Just kind of stays around waist level. But because he swings that way, his bat stays through the zone for a very long time. Good contact guy.
Les uses all fields. Shattered the bat. That'll go to second. Casilla. He's got it on the easy pop-up, and that's that. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. 3 complete at the Trop. No score. Sponsored by Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain reliever of MLB. And by Fox Sports 1. To find your channel, go to foxsports1.com. Gary Thorne and Tom Beducci here in this beautiful city of St. Petersburg with Tampa across the bridge on Tampa Bay, where Joe Madden makes his home. And the skipper of the Rays joining us here right now from the dugout. You're well rested.
Yeah, do I look it? These are red eyes, man.
How tough is it to come back for you as a manager from a ball game like that last night?
Easier when you win it. There's no question. I mean, losing a game like last night's very difficult. All the energy is sucked out of you at that particular point. And I know it's tough for Baltimore today, but they have a great group of young professionals on this team, and I know they're ready to play.
Well, Joe, 7 straight games. You've alternated wins and losses. Do you think it's important to kind of consolidate that game last night with the win today?
It'd be nice. I mean, Alex is throwing the ball real well. So's their guy. You know, like you're seeing already, we've had opportunities. People on base were not very good at that at this particular juncture of the season. We got to be better with runners in scoring position.
Any reason? I mean, I'm sure there probably is no answer, Joe, but do you see anything different at this point of the year in those situations?
You know, it just seems to, I don't even know if it's an industry-wide situation. I just know that, you know, maybe guys a little bit more fatigued. You try to do too much. There's a nice play. He can do that. I don't know if it's like a fatigue situation. You try to do too much in those particular moments. I think that might be the primary problem. Because overall, we've done a great job of getting guys out there. We see a lot of pitches. We work good at bats. We accept our walks when it's necessary. But it just seems when we get folks out there, it just changes a little bit.
Joe, we just saw that play by James Loney. You've had some good first basemen here. Carlos Pena, Casey Kochman. Tell me what you think of Loney's defense in that regard.
Well, they're all really good. The thing about James that's different in a really good way, he's one of the best throwing first basemen I've seen. You saw the little flip right there, but he gets in that no man's land a little bit farther to his right there, and he'll turn and toss it to the pitcher covering as well as anybody, or even on a throw to second base. He's not afraid to throw the baseball. He'll go for the double play, and that's the part of his game I think is a little bit different.
Adam Jones at the plate, 1 down, nobody on. Joe, you've been one of the leaders in all the shifts we now see in baseball. How much difference has it made in the game?
Well, I think it's really changed it a lot, because I think when we started to do this several years ago, a lot of people did not want to do it, and I kind of liked when they didn't want to do it because it gave us an advantage, I thought. But now we're at the point where almost everybody is doing it. I know from our perspective offensively, it does take a lot of our offense away from us. I know it frustrates hitters. It goes beyond just catching the ground ball out there. When the hitter comes up to the plate and he sees an entirely different field than he saw when he grew up in Little League and high school, etc., it puts a different thought in his mind. So I think it's, when you talk about numbers, especially left-handed pull hitters, in regards to batting average, it can be impacted.
Here's the 1-ball-1-strike delivery to Adam Jones. He'll chop that one foul off that sinker.
Well, Joe, you've got a pitcher out there who can place the ball where he mostly wants to and pitch according to those shifts. Unusual to see Alex come out and walk 2 of the first 4, but since then, what do you see? Yeah,
I mean, especially Machado and Adam, they don't really like to walk, so you really have to miss by a lot for them to walk in those moments. I thought he was just kind of over-amped a little bit in the beginning. I think he's starting to settle in. Cobber's the kind of guy that you watch as this game gets in progress. He can get really sharp with all of his stuff. Come on, attaboy. He can get real sharp with a lot of his stuff. He'll get on a roll. You'll see a lot of ground balls like that, a lot of punch outs, but normally he will do that. He'll get a little bit overamp, but then he settles in.
Joe, we're going to let you go, but I got to say, Zobrist is one of my favorite players. I just admire him so much, and there's another great play.
He's one of your favorite people if you really get to know him. I mean, he does this every day. You saw the play made in right field last night. He played second base. He's been playing second base almost the entire season. Goes out to right field. Davis hits that sinking line drive. He makes the play easily. He's even a better person.
All right, Joe, we really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, be well.
There you go, Joe Madden, the skipper of the Rays, and a couple of outs on ground balls here in the 4th inning. Here is Nick Markakis, a strikeout victim his first time up. And the breaking ball in there for a strike.
He knows with Jones running, he doesn't have time to use the glove. Barehanding a ball, it's still moving pretty good. Not an easy play to make, but yet he made it look easy. I thought that was a great point Joe made about the game last night. He's been playing second base virtually the whole season. And yet late in the game, goes out to right field because of a switch. And he made a play that Joe Madden said perhaps Will Myers does not make.
Yeah, it was a sinking line drive, those extra innings, and he made a really fine play in right field. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Cobb's delivery, chop foul. That one got a piece of the home plate umpire, Mike Everett. No score, 1 hit in the game.
So you're starting to see that real good sinking action now out of Cobb, better than in that first inning. Still no outs in the air today by the Orioles against Alex Cobb.
Good news for Cobb. The double by Young in the second is the only hit for either team. And a ground ball towards first base. Loney will range. There's that flip. Cobb covers, and that's that. And another 1, 2, 3 inning. He's had 3 clean innings in a row. 10 in a row retired. After the 6-hour and 54-minute game last night, 18 innings, these two teams back at it. Game 2 of a 4-game set that'll go a long way in deciding the wild card teams from the American League. Here's Evan Longoria, scoreless ball game, bottom of the 4th inning. Miguel Gonzalez has walked 3, struck out 1, the 29-year-old right-hander. And a swing and a miss. Longoria drew one of the 3 walks in the ball game. Was stranded in the first. Myers on deck, and then Young. Shift on in the infield against him. That'll be fouled off at the plate. And Gonzalez will get ahead on the count here, 1-2.
Saw that shift, and I thought Joe Madden had a good point. You know, he's doing it based on numbers, and the Rays especially really trust their numbers. At the same time, he realizes the psychological impact it can have on a hitter to look up and see guys out there where you normally hit the ball.
It's a real good point. 1-2 delivery on the way, and the pitch will be taken up high. You come to the at bat a little bit different. You think maybe I need to move my feet and try and put the ball over here or over there, something other than you would have done otherwise. 2-ball, 2-strike delivery on the way, and then it'll be foul back.
Well, if you start thinking that way, then the shift already has done its job. If you start thinking as a hitter, well, you know what, that right side of the field, even though I don't hit ground balls to the right side, it's open. Maybe I can start thinking about pushing a ball that way. Then the pitcher's got you right where he wants you. You have to play your game, play your strength.
Longoria with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Takes the pitch away. The power hitter already ranked 4th all time among third basemen, slugging percentage wise. Miguel Cabrera's 1, Chipper Jones 2, then Mike Schmidt, and then Evan Longoria, even ahead of the great Atlanta Brave Eddie Matthews. And another chopper that goes foul. Yes, Matthews did play for the Atlanta Braves, even though I think it was only 1 year. Most of the time he played Boston and Milwaukee. I think Eddie actually played for all 3. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Gonzalez to Longoria, and he got him. Boy, great location on that pitch. 2 strikeouts. Now time for our Pepsi game breaker. Let's go to Greg Amsinger. Greg?
Gary, thanks. Let's go to the Bronx. Giants in town to take on the New York Yankees. Eduardo Nunez at the plate, bottom 4. That right there, home run number 2 for Nunez on the year. All Yanks, 5-0. Keep in mind they're 3 games out of that second AL wildcard spot. It's a half game back of the O's. Gary, Tom, back to you in St. Pete.
Greg, that is amazing. They have done that. You see consecutive winning seasons. The Yankees, 20 of them. Tampa Bay has guaranteed themselves 6. Off the bat of Myers to third. Manny Machado over to Davis. 1 pitch and an out on Myers, and there are 2 down. I don't know how the Yankees have done it. With all the injuries and all the turmoil that's gone on, all the players that they've used, somehow they have found ways to win and keep themselves within striking distance.
I've lost track of the numbers. I think the last time I checked it was about 54 players, a franchise record the Yankees have used. I think it's gone up since then. But really, let's be honest here, that teams have not been making them pay for some of the struggles they've had.
2 down, nobody on. Delman Young.
I mean, a lot of these teams playing 500 baseball, as have the Orioles, and still are hanging around.
That's what it's been. Nobody's been willing to pick it up and run. And to give credit to the Indians and Kansas City, 2 teams trying to do just that. Ground ball to short, backhanded by Hardy from the outfield grass. Long throw. Davis didn't get him. Hardy's throw up in the air pulled Chris Davis. Delman seems to be the only one who can get on base in the game. He's on again.
Yeah, rare misfire for a guy who throws straight over the top, so there's no tail on this ball at all. It just is high. And Davis will just miss the tag. Watch how close he comes to getting Young. Just misses him here. It's a good call by Tim Welke. Got himself a great angle on this ball to make the call. Tim Welke moving to his left to make sure he saw the daylight there between the glove and Delman Young. Good call.
And that is going to be an error charged on Hardy. The Orioles have made the fewest errors in the majors. That's only the 48th error of the season. They're in line to set a new major league record for fewest errors ever in the course of a year. But last night they committed an error, resulted in an unearned run in the first inning, and ended up arguably the difference in the ball game. That ended up being a 1-run game. The Orioles have surrendered 28 unearned runs on the year. They're number 1 in defense in the American League. Tampa Bay's number 2. They've committed 55 errors and given up 35 unearned runs. Ball's going to be put up in the air to left field off the bat of James Loney. McLeod is there, and he'll put it away. No runs, no hits, an error, and a base runner left on. So we've gone through 4, all pitching. ACE for your chance to win a sports room makeover. Here inside the Trop, Gary Thorne, Tom Verducci. After a long night, need to get your nails filed down a little bit?
You know, it was interesting. He actually went out to the mound and then ran back to the dugout and said, "I forgot to file my nails." Now, it's important for Alex Cobb because he throws that spike curveball where he's got that finger embedded into the ball. I thought that was interesting. He got out to the mound and said, "Whoops, forgot something. Got my glove, but forgot to file my nails."
Amazing thing is, he does it himself. No manicurist down there or anything?
It was an emergency. I think he's got one on call.
For the Rays, 0-1-0. They've left 4. The Orioles 0-0-1. They have left 2. Cobb will work to the Orioles shortstop J.J. Hardy. Hardy grounded out his first time up, and the pitch will be taken outside for a ball. Valencia waiting on deck. Clevenger to follow. 6, 7, 8 in the lineup for the Orioles, looking for their first hit. And the pitch is taken for a strike. Last night, the Orioles in the 18-inning game went 3 for 41. Today so far, they're 0 for 12. So they're 3 for their last 53, a batting average of 0.57.
This is a real good hitting team, obviously. One that relies a lot on power. Maybe not a great rally team, but certainly the long ball is a big part of their game.
Hardy will take the pitch in the dirt. We were talking about that between innings. Tommy, there were no home runs in the ball game last night. Pretty amazing. 18-inning game. The Orioles lead the majors in homers hit. None. And Tampa Bay's got a few guys who can bop them too. Really, there wasn't even anything that close to being a home run last night.
Great display of pitching and of roster usage. 21 pitchers, a major league record.
And there's that off-speed pitch, and Hardy's not even going to bother to run the first. Molina will tag him out.
Guess the nail file did the job. Great breaking ball.
Today, Fox College Saturday, presented by Geico, continues on Fox Sports 1. Louisiana Monroe tagged to upset the 20th-ranked Baylor Bears in Waco. Then on Fox, the 23rd-ranked Arizona State Sun Devils head to Palo Alto to battle the 5th-ranked Stanford Cardinal in the only game of the day that matches 2 of the top 25 teams. Full day of college football continues later on today on Fox and Fox Sports 1. To find Fox Sports 1 on your provider, go to foxsports1.com right now. And the breaking ball is into Valencia. Five strikeouts for Cobb in the game. 2 walks. The 2 walks, the only Oriole base runners. 0-1 delivery off the fists and back. So you get to watch the Cardinal play today. Love their football. Love the tree even more. The halftime show. There's nothing like it in college sports. You never know what the tree will do. If you're not familiar with that, the tree's the band, in quotes, for Stanford. They didn't like it when they changed their nickname. So instead of going with the Cardinal and calling themselves the Cardinal Band, they just call themselves the Tree.
Very entertaining, too.
They are. Anybody that shows up, they don't practice. They go out on the field and do whatever comes to mind. Danny Valencia, the 1-ball, 2-strike delivery. And Valencia gets eaten up inside. Cobb's on.
Well, you talk about being sharp. He's now faced 16 batters, and the ball has not left the infield. It's that 2-seamer with that good boring action down and in on Valencia, who's been swinging a very hot bat for the Orioles.
He has struck out as many as 13 in a ball game this year. That came against San Diego back on May 10. Pitch will be taken up high for a ball.
Well, that game against San Diego, he did something nobody has ever done before. He faced 4 batters, struck out all 4, and gave up a run.
What the? Now, you'd have to think about that a long time to figure out how that could happen.
Yeah, it's very unusual. Obviously, the first batter that struck out reached on a wild pitch. Struck out the next batter. There was a stolen base, and the runner stole third base, and then Alex balked him home. So strikeout to first, stolen base to second, stolen base to third, balk home. Faced 4 batters in an inning and struck out all and gave up a run.
That will be one of the strangest lines in an inning you'll ever see. And there is a base hit. So the Orioles get their first hit of the ball game with 2 down here in the 5th inning. Clevenger is on with 2 away, just out of the reach of Zobrist. Here you go, Tom.
Well, it's rare. I think it happens a lot in Little League baseball, but in the major leagues never happened before. Here's the stolen base after Venable reached on the wild pitch on the strikeout. Takes off for third, gets there easy. There's another strikeout. Now runner on third base, and whoops, there's the balk. And to finish it off, the 4th strikeout.
What an inning. So each team now with 1 hit in the ball game. 2 down here in the 5th. Casilla, the number 9 hitter, called out on strikes his first time up.
Yeah, that same night, Gary, he struck out 13 in less than 5 innings, and that had never been done before.
It's amazing.
So he does have strikeout stuff, as we've seen tonight.
Yeah, his line was 3 runs on 5 hits and 4 2/3 innings in that ball game with 13 strikeouts, and he gave up 2 home runs in the game. So Cobb with the runner on at first and Casilla at the plate. Orioles have had only 1 runner to second base first inning. That came on 2 walks. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Breaking ball. Casilla didn't like it. 7 strikeouts have been picked up by Cobb as he strikes the side out here in the 5th in honor of Tom Beducci's story, and he didn't log.
Sometimes catchers have it too. Nobody better at framing than Jose Molina. Inside and outside on Alexi Casilla. First strikeout, gets the inside corner. Now watch this next one, a backdoor breaking ball where he frames the pitch, gives Mike Everett a good look at it, gets the call. But watch Molina. He goes to throw the ball back to the pitcher. Whoops, that actually was a strike. I think even Jose Molina was surprised that he got that call.
Now he's trying to make up with the home plate umpire.
That's one big fraternity, those guys who wear the masks.
It is.
But there is an art to framing those pitches, and Molina is just so good.
So Molina gets to lead it off. Molina, Escobar, and DeJesus. Molina popped out his first time up, hitting .241 on the year, a couple of home runs, and will take the pitch for a ball. But a tough ball game so far for the hitters. One hit for each team. Best chances for each team coming in the first inning. Identical innings in the first when both ball clubs got 2 walks. Had 2 on with 2 down. And in each situation, the next hitter struck out. Miguel Gonzalez up to 60 pitches thrown as he works here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery. That'll be outside. 2-1 on Molina. Escobar, the number 9 hitter. Tampa Bay comes in having won 6 of their last 9 games. They went through a streak there in the first of the month. They won only 4 the previous 17. So they had been on a roller coaster ride trying to put away a wild card spot. In fact, for much of the year staying in the race with the Red Sox for the Eastern Division. But when they went through that period of time, any hope for a division title went with it. 3-1 delivery, and there's a leadoff walk. Today's telecast is sponsored by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado.
That was a situation right there for Gonzalez where he's just trying to throw a strike in the middle of the plate. 3-1 to Jose Molina leading off the inning, and he missed badly.
So in 3 of the 5 innings, Tampa Bay's had the leadoff man on base twice with a walk. That happened in the 3rd with DeJesus getting on, but Jennings hit into a double play. Now the leadoff man on here in the 5th, and Escobar grounded out his first time up. 4 for 14 lifetime off Gonzalez, and the pitch will be taken inside. Clevenger's on his way out. Gonzalez just a little break here to try and get back in the groove of the strike zone.
Saw Escobar take that pitch there. First time up, swung at the first pitch. He is a guy you really have to be careful with early in the count. First pitches, he hits 405. After that, not so good. 231. Very aggressive hitter.
He's only had a couple of hits in his last 21 at bats, dropping the average down a bit. 260 at the moment. Runner on first, nobody out. Escobar, that's going to go all the way to the backstop, and Molina's going to go to second base. Right off the end of the glove.
Yeah, this is where you miss location by so much. The catcher reaching back, you see him set up inside, and the ball's all the way in the other batter's box. Just doesn't have time to readjust. You're expecting to see that fastball in, reach across the body. Yeah, went off the glove, but had to really change his whole angle to try to catch that baseball. Couldn't get over there in time.
He'll be charged with a pass ball, putting the runner at second base. Here's Escobar's chance. 2-0 count. Way up and into him, and Escobar 3-0.
This is just a curveball or splitter that just kind of flipped out of his hand. Struggling with command in this inning so far.
Tampa Bay 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position in the ball game as they get Molina at second. Orioles will not try and hold him close. Breaking ball, and that is a strike. Escobar was already to go to first. Pays his compliments to Mike Everett.
Yeah, I wonder if Clevenger got crossed up himself, got fooled. Yeah, he's expecting a fastball right there. And all of a sudden he's got to readjust to that curveball going down.
Now you've got a runner on at second base, so you obviously have signs, multiple signs being given, and it looked like in that case pitcher catcher were not on the same page as to which sign was active. Now Clevenger goes out again to try and get that taken care of. Count is 3-1 on Escobar. DeJesus top of the order waiting on deck. 3-1 delivery, and that's going to miss outside. So the walk is the 5th surrendered by Gonzalez in the game. 2 of them have come here in this inning. It does set up a potential double play, and Billy Castro, the pitching coach of the Orioles, is on his way out to the mound. They do not have anybody at the moment, at least, warming up, although there are stirrings in the full bullpen.
Well, we talked about this at the top on the scouting report on Gonzalez. The batting averages go up each time around the lineup. Starts out at 213 first time to 268 the second, and the third time around, which is the point we've reached now, 286 with a 578 slugging percentage. That's his track record, and on a night where let's face it, he is not all that sharp. This is a danger point of the game right here. Because of the 18-inning game last night, no one is throwing in the Baltimore bullpen.
Boy, the innings you're talking about, Tom, it shows up with the runs. 13 runs against him in the 4th, 16 in the 5th inning, 15 in the 6th inning. These middle innings have been an entirely different game for Miguel Gonzalez. Here is David DeJesus, the leadoff batter. He has walked, flied out to center field. Nobody out, 2 on, scoreless game. Machado will play in at third, playing for a bunt.
Wouldn't expect one.
Doesn't show it, and the pitch is taken for a ball. DeJesus has only 1 sacrifice on the year.
Yeah, and the Rays are really towards the bottom of the league in bunt base hit or bunt sacrifice hits. Only 24 all season. DeJesus hits right-handers well. 4 hits last night. Joe Madden wants to take advantage of 3 opportunities to drive in a run with a hit, not just 2.
1-0 count. Machado stays in, still at third base, right off the grass. 1-0 delivery to Jesus. Again does not show bunt. That one bounces. And Gonzalez in a struggle now as he falls behind 2-0. There's Jennings, the number 2 hitter, waiting on deck. Buck Showalter checking that lineup card to who he's got available, who Joe Madden has available on the bench to answer. But as Tom said, there's nobody up in the pen. Nobody out. 3-0.
Last night, remember, Buck Showalter had his bullpen getting warm 4 batters into the game. And finally, he's resisted long enough to start getting some help ready.
3rd time this year, Gonzalez has walked 5 in a ball game. That's his high. 2 of them here in this inning are on base. 3-0 delivery on the way. Taken. It's a strike. DeJesus trying to work a walk out of that. It started down to first base.
This is the kind of pitch that might not be a strike at 0-2, but it's a strike at 3-0. And yes, umpires do call different strike zone. They would never admit it, but it is true. The strike zone changes a little bit according to count.
Steve Johnson, who did not appear in the ball game last night, warming up in the Orioles bullpen. 3-ball, 1 strike count. Molina, Escobar, the runners. That's in there for a strike, and Gonzalez comes back on him and gets it full at 3-2. DeJesus trying to work that walkout, couldn't get him on those 2 pitches. DeJesus 255 here in the month of September. Big chance for the Rays to get on the board. On the other hand, for the Orioles, looking for that ground ball, try and get a couple of outs on 1 pitch. 3-2, runners aren't going anywhere. Up in the air, left center. McLouth will come over. He's got it. Runners stay. 1 out here in the 5th inning. And the struggles continue for these 2 teams to try and get somebody home. Each team's had only 1 hit. It's been the walks. 5 Tampa Bay's picked up, 2 picked up by the O's that have put the runners on base. Jennings, one of those walks, he's also hit into a double play.
Well, that was such a big sequence by Gonzalez coming back from down 3-0. Now he's one ground ball away from getting out of this.
And the pitch up high. When we were talking with Joe Madden earlier in the ballgame, you heard him say he thought maybe it was endemic to all of Major League Baseball late in the year, a little harder to get hits with runners in scoring position with everybody trying to do too much. We took a look at the numbers, and not true. Through June, the average in the majors, 257. September, 261. It's actually up a little bit. The lower months were July and August, when the average was 250 with runners in scoring position. I'm sure to Joe, he's going, yeah, but we certainly have done a good job dragging that number down a little bit. And so have the Orioles here in the month of September.
Yeah, based on what he's seen, obviously, this month, it's been a struggle for Tampa Bay. But once again, a good hitter's count with runners on base. Gonzalez falling behind again.
Jennings, 2-0. And just came right in with it. Fastball, 93-mile-an-hour fastball that time, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count from Gonzalez.
Boy, we've seen Markakis, Myers, and now Jennings all take, with runners on second base, fastballs over the plate in fastball counts.
2-1. The walk to Molina, the walk to Escobar to start it. They are on, one away, 2-1 delivery. Jennings on a breaking ball, that's going to be outside. So Jennings gets the count to 3-1.
Well, I think if you're Jennings here, you have to be ready for fastball. Just ambush a fastball if Gonzalez gets one over the plate. Time to be aggressive.
Molina, the lead runner, not fleet of foot. Keep that in mind on a base hit, if there is one. Here's the 3-1 delivery on the way, and he came right in with another pitch that was a strike. The hitters almost look reluctant to take the bat off their shoulders.
It's the same pattern. Now, this is a well-executed pitch, inside corner. I get it, but he just was not in position to take a hack at that pitch. Fastball 3-1. Now Gonzalez is in a situation where he might come back with that slider 3-2, and Jennings might chase something out of the zone. We saw that happen with Myers earlier.
3-2, 1 out. And Gonzalez will step off. Levinchuk will go out. You've seen the effect here of having a catcher you haven't worked with all year, or from the catcher's perspective, a pitcher you haven't worked with. Matt Wieters has always been the catcher for the Orioles when Gonzalez has pitched. Wieters played the 18 last night, so he's getting the day off. Levinger's making only his second appearance with the Orioles, so there's been a little confusion at times. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Whoa, Dougie, way back, left field, and goodbye, home run. Jennings with a 3 RBI homer, and the Rays are on the board.
Well, Gary, I thought he might go to that 3-2 slider, but instead he came back with that same fastball on the inside corner, and this time Jennings was ready for it.
14 homers, 53 RBIs for Jennings.
Watch this. Doesn't bury it quite inside as much as he did on the 2-strike pitch. A little too much of the plate. Jennings doesn't miss it.
24 home runs off Gonzalez, 17 by right-handers. Ground ball, Zobrist. Davis will take it to the bag, and there are 2 down.
Well, we talked about getting behind on these hitters, and Gonzalez had executed well when he was behind on the count. That time, that fastball trying to bury it in just got too much of the plate.
So Jennings continues to do what he's done in his career against Gonzalez. He's had 4 hits in 18 at-bats, and 3 of the 4 hits have been home runs. And the breaking ball will catch the outside corner. Here's Longoria. He has struck out and drawn a walk. For Jennings, that is his 4th home run against the Orioles this year. He now has 13 RBIs against the Orioles. He leads Tampa Bay in RBIs against the Orioles this season.
Once again, it's the 3rd time around the batting order. I mean, a .578 slugging percentage, 3rd time around a batting order. You're turning the lineup into a lineup of all-star sluggers at that level.
0-2 delivery on the way. That'll be outside. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Longoria. So the Rays used the long ball in this one to jump out to the 3-0 lead. Just their 2nd hit of the game. Came back inside, and that one will miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a smiling Jennings after launching that one into the left field seats. Down to 3rd, fair ball from the line. Right on the money is Manny Machado, but the 5th inning proves to be the charm as the Rays get the homer from Jennings. A couple of walks score ahead of him. Rays up 3-0. Sponsored by Taco Bell's new fiery Doritos Locos Taco, Live Mas, and by Fox Sports 1. To find your channel, go to foxsports1.com. We should be out there. Let's take a look at our Fox Sports 1 pitcher comparison brought to you by Fox Sports 1, available on all TV providers. Go to foxsports1.com to find out what channel.
Yeah, that's going to jump out at you right there. 5 walks by Miguel Gonzalez, 2 of them scoring on the home run by Desmond Jennings.
So the Orioles have got to find some lumber. They're going to get back in this game. Cobb has walked 2 and struck out 7. And a strike taken. Top of the order, Nate McLouth. He has grounded out twice. The Orioles have 1 hit. Their catcher, Clevenger, picked up a single in the 5th inning. Pitch will be inside. Cobb had retired 12 in a row prior to the base hit in the 5th. Manny Machado and then Davis due up for the Orioles in the 6th inning. And for the Orioles, time running out as far as keeping their chances alive for that postseason. Most of the players felt, and they don't talk about it publicly, but felt when they got to the 12 games left, they only had a couple of losses that they could take and hope to make it. fouled off. Well, they have lost one since that time in Boston, even though they took 2 out of 3. Then they lost the ball game here in the opener last night. So if they're right about that, they have used up the 2 losses.
Well, they certainly understand the urgency, especially with the schedule that Cleveland has.
1-2 delivery will be a base hit into right field. So Nate McLouth is on. 6th inning leadoff single. That'll bring up Manny Machado, who has proven to be one of the great defensive players in his early career. He's made some plays this year that have everybody going ooh and ah. There have been a number of fielding gems. He is a shortstop by trade, playing at third base since he came up last year. And is he a Gold Glove third baseman this year?
I think the answer is definitely yes. I'm not predicting he will win it. It's tough to win it as a young player. You're up against reputations. Evan Longoria, the Rays, is as good as there is. Adrian Beltre certainly in that category. But I've never seen a third baseman make the plays this guy does, almost on a nightly basis. The range and the arm strength are just off the charts good.
Ian Longoria right there in fielding percentage for third baseman. And Machado a chopper. Zobrist gonna go to first. There's a veteran play. He knew he could not get McLouth. Knows you got to get one and does.
Yeah, I think this ball hit home plate and goes really high in the air. Escobar's not near the bag anyways. You see Zobrist take a look. He doesn't have an option. Has to go to first base because Escobar is not there. You're right. I'm not sure he had it out at second base anyway, but Zobrist did take a look. Saw the bag vacated and said, I'll take the out at first base.
Close play. Machado charging down the line. Good call. It's in the glove. Tim Welke again. I started keeping track. Let's see now. This September, 1st of August. And the games I was doing as to how many calls would have been overturned if video had been in effect. And through this date, 1. Now that's just following one team, but only one call would have been overturned, which I thought is a great tribute to the umpires, that these plays are so close, snap judgments, and they are right almost all the time on making the call.
They are so good.
The naked eye, a lot of times you see it another way. Davis will foul that one down the line. It'll be out of play.
You know, I did a story once for Sports Illustrated where I actually umpired a spring training game. I spent a week training with some umpires, and one of the things I learned from Tim Sheeta, former umpire and a great umpire, was that they should be good. The key is really positioning for umpires, because you should get in position where your head is still. The referees, umpires, and other sports are always on the run. Their eyes are moving, their heads are moving. With baseball, it's about getting yourself in position, almost like a camera on a tripod, so you get a really good look. And Chris Davis got a good look at that pitch right there. That two-seam fastball running back over the plate again to the left-handed hitter.
8 strikeouts have been picked up by Cobb. So the runner's still at second, 2 down.
You saw the hips of Chris Davis start bailing out to make room for that baseball, and there was plenty of room because it comes back over the plate. It's the classic comeback two-seamer.
So the Orioles 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position in the ball game. Jones gets another chance. He has drawn a walk and then taken out on a good 1-4-3 put out his last time up. Rays have the lead in the game by a score of 3-0, trying to take the second game of this 4-game set against the Orioles. Rays wrapping up their final homestand with these games, including games on Sunday and Monday. The Orioles will go back home after those games to play Toronto and Boston. 1-0 delivery is fouled off. Adam Jones will hobble out of there after that one.
You know, one of the great things for the Orioles this season has been the health of their everyday players. They've been able to run the same lineup out there time and time again. Jones fouling this ball down, that sinker again running in on him off the back foot. But now in September, that almost works against them. with so much mileage on the odometer of the everyday players. You've got Jones this month hitting 247, Machado 182, Markakis 225, Davis 211. And as Buck Showalter said, even after an 18-inning game, you've got to run those regulars back out there. There's no question. This is a tired team right now.
And it shows at the plate. Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way fouled off. The irony was, if the Orioles were going to worry about anything on the list, hitting would be last. And for the first 4 months, that was true. Starting pitching, big problem. Bullpen, middle of the season problem. Here in September, everything's reversed. The starters have been really good. The bullpen's been magnificent. But the offense has just not been able to score runs.
They've got 5 players who played 150 games this season. No one in the league has more than 2.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Runner at second base, 2 down. Jones goes down swinging. That's 9 strikeouts picked up by Cobb. 2 more in this inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. When we come back, we'll see. Rookie of the Year candidate, Rookie of the Year, maybe. Will Myers coming up.
What can you say about Alfonso Soriano in the 6th liftoff, his 17th homer with the Yankees? He had 17 with the Cubs and 41 more games played. Wow. Another new acquisition, Brendan Ryan, showing off the leather here with the force out. Outstanding. Ivan Nova has been terrific. It's 6-0 Yanks, bottom 7. I'll get you back to the Trop. Rejoin Gary Thorne and Tom Verducci.
Has there been a better player in the second half than Soriano?
No, the best pickup at the trade deadline. Oh, there's no question about that.
My, oh, my. And here is Will Myers. Myers, a strikeout, and he is grounded out against Miguel Gonzalez. Batting here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 3-0 lead for the Rays. 1-0 pitch to Myers. That'll be launched to center, but it's in the yard. Jones will put it away. I didn't have a chance to ask you, but take a look at the wild card here. Cleveland has moved up. They're playing some good baseball right now, and as Tom said, they got the easy schedule. Texas just struggling over the last month and a half. The Orioles, Kansas City 2.5, and New York 3.
Yeah, Cleveland's got 2 more with Houston, and then Chicago, and then Minnesota. National League wild card. Washington, I guess they're still in it, mathematically, certainly.
The real question in the National League is who's going to win the Central, who's going to go as the wild card. Cardinals, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh. Cardinals have a 2-game edge over both the Reds and the Pirates. Reds have won 4 games in a row. I was going to ask you, Don, Will Myers Rookie of the Year?
You know, I think he will win, Gary, and no one has won the American League Rookie of the Year award without 100 games played as a position player. He won't get there, but I think he's been that impressive. He's close to it. He'll be in the 90s.
Foul back by Delman Young. He has reached on an error double.
Certainly Jose Iglesias with the Tigers had an outstanding season. Will get a lot of support.
Loney coming out on deck. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and that ball is going to be to center field. Jones, an Adam ball. And Young is retired. 2 down, flies to center here in the 6th inning.
An Adam ball?
Adam ball.
As in Adam Jones or right Adam?
ADAM.
There's a lot of those.
It's a takeoff on the
With Adam Jones out there, there's a lot of balls that qualify under that description. He can run them down with the best of them.
That'll bring up James Loney, who has popped out, flied out. Both these pitchers, even though both struggled a little bit early, and Gonzalez has issued a high this season, 5 walks, equaling a high. Still, they've held the opposing teams each to just 2 hits. Inside for Gonzalez, though, the bomb by Jennings, 14th home run of the year, has given the Rays that 3-0 lead. Delivery, and will be taken for a strike. Catch all the action of the 2013 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox, TBS, and MLB Network. It all starts October 1st.
And there was some good baseball last night, postseason quality, not just the 18 innings here. Reds had that huge comeback win against Pittsburgh. Cardinals won a close game against Milwaukee. Indians won a 1-run game. Royals and Rangers in a 1-run game.
There were 4 extra inning ball games, I think, last night. There were 5 the night before. That's how tight these games are. Casilla over to get it. Caught it on the fly. That will retire the side. 3 up and 3 down. It remains the Rays on top. And we will return to Tampa Bay after a word from your local Fox station. He's 9-3 on the year, 2 walks and 9 strikeouts in the ball game. In the bullpen, Francisco Rodriguez for the Orioles, who did appear in the ball game last night. Here is Nick Markakis to lead it off as we go to the 7th inning. 3-2-0, 4 left on for the Rays, 0-2-1, 4 left on for the Orioles. Markakis has struck out and grounded out, 1 for 10 in the first 2 games of this series. Markakis, an example of how the offense has struggled for the Orioles. He was hitting .287 through the end of July. Since then, .223. All the numbers from Markakis have dipped over that time frame, and that's been true for a lot of the Orioles players.
He's got just 2 extra base hits in his last 22 games. Again, fatigue setting in the September month.
Be towards the middle, and he's got a base hit. So Markakis has a leadoff single here in the 7th inning. Time for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stat.
J.J. Hardy, check this out. Most home runs at shortstop since 2011. Might surprise a few people, you'd think, huh?
Absolutely.
Good margin ahead of Troy Tulowitzki.
And a power hitting shortstop for the Orioles. He has struck out and grounded out in this game. Orioles again get the leadoff man on, as they did in the 6th inning. Molina able to keep it close enough, and Markakis will stay at first base. The Orioles have gone 17 consecutive ball games where they have scored 5 or fewer runs, and in most of those games it's been 3 or 4 runs at most. They've had just a couple of games in that time span where they've hit 5. Hardy on the big cut on a Cobb delivery up high.
Yeah, he's a really good high ball hitter. Just gets underneath that one, but they could use one of those long balls from J.J. Hardy. This is a team really built on power, on hitting the home run. Thursday night in Boston, they had 1. Last night in 18 innings, none. So far, none tonight.
And that is in there for a strike. The Orioles this year, 44% of their runs have come via the home run, 3rd highest.
There's that spike breaking ball there.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Markakis off first base. He delivered to Hardy, and that'll be down low. Molina getting that one in the glove. The Orioles have the unique distinction of having hit the most home runs in the league and given up the most home runs in the league.
Well, they're not a classic rally team in the method of stringing hits together, but they do come back because of their ability to strike quickly.
2-2 delivery on the way, and Hardy will get on swinging. Cobb has just picked up the big strikeouts throughout this game. He's got 10 in the ball game.
Once again, multiple weapons to choose from as the put away pitch. Back to the split right here. Doubled up on the split. It's very tough to protect against when you know he's got that sinker and he's got the curveball as well.
Cobb has had one other start against the Orioles this year. 6 innings. He gave up a couple of runs on 3 hits. He struck out 5 in that ball game. It's a rematch here, as Miguel Gonzalez was also the starter in that game. Fastball will ride inside. Valencia has struck out twice. The Orioles DH. Valencia here in September has been the hottest hitter for the Orioles. So in a season where the Orioles have used innumerable people in the DH role, Valencia has taken it over and is playing every game, hitting .346 in September with 2 home runs. Cobb has stayed inside on him, and he's at bat, so he can't get those arms extended, but because he has power. Levinger waiting on deck.
Valencia earning himself everyday opportunities. The guy at first is a guy who just crushed left-handed pitching, but he's been so hot, it doesn't matter.
That'll go to short. Escobar, Zobrist. They turn the double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. 7th inning stretch time here at the Trop where the Rays lead the Orioles 3-0. The fan cam. Take a look. The Fox Sports 1 fan cam brought to you by Fox Sports 1. Available on all TV providers. Go to foxsports1.com to find out what channel. Star Wars Day here at the ballpark. So we got Star Wars, Sharks in the tank, Francisco Rodriguez on the mound.
Did you bring your Stormtroopers outfit today, Gary?
I am ready to march with you, Thomas. Lead the way. Jose Molina. Molina's drawn a walk and scored. He has popped out Gonzalez out of the ball game. Rodriguez up high with it. There they are, alive and well. It's funny, about 1 o'clock, 1:30 this morning, while the game from last night was still going on, they were all sleeping in the bottom of the tank. All of them gone to sleep. Baseball was still being played here at the Trop. 1-0 pitch, foul back, can't get around on the fastball. Molina 1-1.
Oh, there weren't a lot of runs being scored.
No.
A lot of action for the Rays the literal Rays to stay involved,
yes.
or at least awake.
So they were just napping out there. Molina will be followed by Escobar and DeJesus. Gonzalez 3 runs, 2 hits over 6 innings. The Orioles starter walked 5, 2 scored, and he struck out 2. And Rodriguez comes inside.
Yeah, I thought Gonzalez did a really good job giving this team 6 innings. We talked about the importance of giving your team length on the heels of a day game after an 18-inning night game the previous night. That being said, I think the mistake, of course, obviously the home run to Desmond Jennings, but this guy right here, Molina.
Hardy, outfield grass, time to make the throw, and we'll get him.
Leading off that 5th inning, he walked Jose Molina. That's where the trouble began.
And today's telecast sponsored by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And here is Yunel Escobar. Another one of those walks Tom was talking about, back-to-back in the 5th. Both would score.
Yeah, I mean, you've got your 8 and 9 hitters in a scoreless game. 5th inning. Molina's got only 21 walks all year. And on ball 4, didn't come close to throwing a strike.
That ball's tagged to the gap. That's going to do a lot of rolling. Jones is going to have to go all the way back to the wall, 400 feet away. Escobar thinking about 3. Hardy comes out to get it. Relay throw to third. Not in time.
Oh, we talked about Escobar loves to hit on the first pitch, above 400 on the first pitch, 230 after that. Doesn't matter. This guy comes out of the dugout ready to swing the bat.
So Escobar gets his first triple of the year. In ahead of the throw and the relay from Hardy. And for Escobar, his 9th major league triple. He had only 1 last season in the games with Toronto. Yanel Escobar, 3rd, forces the infield to be drawn in. Hit number 3 for the Rays. De Jesus, who get the RBI chance, the leadoff batter, 0 for 2 and a walk. Rodriguez's pitch swung out and missed for the Rays. 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position today. That's all they've needed with that Jennings home run. Watching that runner over there at third base. If he goes, they want it to the plate. Orioles not scoring. They can't afford to give up another. Escobar, you would think, is not going to go on contact here. He'll wait till the ball's gone through.
I think Showalter's just reminding them to be aware of that possibility anyway.
Yep.
With a lead, you're more able to take that gamble of going on contact.
Pitch will be taken inside by De Jesus. Each team's picked up the 3 hits in the ball game. Rodriguez trying to keep the score where it is at 3-0. Rays extra base hits. They're going for the cycle. Home run, triple, double. Haven't had a single yet. Single here, bring in another run. 1-1 delivery on the way, and that's whacked into the seats foul. Another run right now would loom large. They could pick one up here in the bottom half of the 7th inning and extend that lead.
You know, that's the kind of pitch, that fastball in, hit hard. People go, ooh, like he squared him up. But that's about all he could have done with that pitch. That certainly opens up the outside part of the plate if he wants to come back with that curveball or changeup.
De Jesus, 1 ball, 2 strike count. Runner off third. That's that great changeup that Rodriguez has made a living off. All arms, legs, and then a slow floater.
That's just classic pattern there. Hard in and changeup. Maybe he wanted that farther away, but the change of speed with that same arm speed gets De Jesus way out in front. So the foul ball as a pitcher, you don't get upset about a guy hitting a ball foul to the pull side. You've got him out front. You've sped up his bat. Now you come back with something soft to get the out.
Here is Jennings, who has had the big bow in the ball game. Desmond Jennings, the home run, 5th inning, is 14th. Good for the 3 that are up on the board. Rodriguez will get it in there for his strike. Jennings has no at-bats in his career against the 31-year-old right-hander. Escobar's on at third base. 2 down now. Here's the 0-1 delivery to him. That's in there for the strike called at the letters, and it goes to 0-2.
It reminds me of a Johan Santana changeup where you can throw it in the middle of the zone, but the arm speed is what really sells it, and hitters just take the changeup for strike. Most good changeups you'll see hitters swing over, they dive outside of the strike zone. He can throw it in the strike zone. Going back to the curveball right here.
0-2 delivery on the way, and that ball's tagged in the air. That too going to the gap. Jones over, reaching, cannot get it. Another one that's going to go all the way to the wall. Is it another triple? Yes, it is. Standing up. Jennings, the triple and an RBI. All 4 runs batted in belong to Desmond Jennings.
Well, he came with that curveball. This is a hanger. started Jennings off with a curveball for the called strike. This time, it's not a put-away curveball. It's not an 0-2 curveball, which you want to move through the zone and out of the zone. That fell into the zone, right into the barrel of Desmond Jennings' bat. And that's an easy triple.
6 triples on the year for Desmond Jennings. And he now has 54 runs batted in, including all 4 in this ball game. 2 triples in the 7th inning for Tampa Bay, and that one coming with 2 down. Here's Zobrist. He'll take the pitch for a ball. Zobrist has an 0 for 3 in the game. 4 runs on 4 hits for the Rays. .0 delivery, and that'll be up high. So the bat's coming alive here for Tampa Bay in the 7th inning, with Escobar and Jennings putting them almost to the exact same spot out there in left center field. Once it gets by the outfielders, it's a long way to the wall. 2-0 delivery. That's in there for the strike. Longoria waiting if the inning stays alive. Zobrist, a 2-ball 1-strike count. That's going to go up the middle, and that's a base hit, and there's their single. And an RBI for Zobrist, and the Rays add another. It's 5-0.
Just a good approach. We talked about his stroke. Watch how the bat stays flat through the zone. Even on a low pitch, it doesn't come up all that much. A nice job getting down to that changeup and hammers it through the middle.
70 RBIs for Zobrist on the season. And here in the inning, a couple of hits with a runner in scoring position. Coming with 2 down. Evan Longoria, second time today Steve Johnson has been up in the bullpen. Longoria's 0 for 2 and a walk.
Boy, and if you're the Rays, those last 2 hits, that's like a rainstorm after a drought. Not just with runners in scoring position, but with 2 outs. Those are the kind of hits they've been hard to come by in the month of September for Tampa Bay.
Billy Castro out. He's just trying to draw some time to give Johnson a chance to get warmed up. Rodriguez, though, is going to have to go through one more hitter. And it is Longoria. Five runs, 5 hits. Runner at first base, Zobrist. Pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Though for Rodriguez, he's given up the 2 runs on 3 hits here in the inning. We'd mentioned earlier how this Orioles bullpen been magnificent in the month of September. That's going to be another base hit into left field. McLouth up with it to hold the runner at second base. So Longoria's on with a single. That is the 3rd hit that has come with 2 down here in the 7th inning.
Nice swing right there by Longoria. Keeping the hands inside the baseball and still pulling it.
And that will give Myers another chance at the plate. He is 0 for 3. Showalter not making the move to the mound here, as Rodriguez get at least one more batter, as the Rays have jumped out to the 5-0 lead. 2 on, 2 out. Pitch will catch the outside corner. Myers without a hit in these 2 games. He's gone 0 for 11 in the first 2 of this 4-game set.
thing about Will Myers, though, you can never tell whether he's 0 for 11 or 11 for 11. His demeanor never changes. He always looks like he just rolled out of bed. Part of that is the hairstyle he likes to rock. The uncombed look. He actually got a haircut the other day. He said it the first time since spring training.
0-1 delivery on the way, and that is there for a strike.
And David Price asked him how much he paid for the haircut. He said $14. David said he paid $14 too much for that haircut.
Fortunately, he's usually got a hat or a helmet on.
But he is just such a relaxed player. Remarkable for such a young player here in a September pennant race, hitting in the middle of the order. Just his demeanor is just really perfect for this game.
Runners on first and second base. 0-2 count. Comes inside. Does he not remind you of Longoria as he stands at the plate?
Yeah, he really does. He's got very similar upright stance, open a little bit, easy swing into the baseball.
Not a bad teammate to learn from for a 22-year-old. Longoria is one of the quietest hitters in the game, and you see that out of Will Myers. Very little movement. Look back to second. No throw. Casilla was not over to cover the bag.
I think Myers can hit for a higher average than Longoria. Longoria's got a little more of an uppercut to his swing. Myers a little flatter. A power guy with a flatter swing.
Longoria out there, the lead runner at second base. Rodriguez with a 1-2. That'll bounce. Runners are going to go. They'll both advance on the wild pitch.
And we talked to Buck Showalter before the game about how important Matt Wieters is. The number he pointed out, you see Clevenger try to backhand that ball. Really have little chance of stopping that pitch by trying to backhand it. He pointed out the Orioles coming into this game had allowed the fewest wild pitches in all of the American League, all of baseball, and by a wide margin.
And that largely due to their all-star Gold Glove catcher Matt Wieters. So now two in scoring position. Here's Matt, who's got the day off after playing all 18 last night. Myers got a chance to all but put this ball game away right here. Base hit would score 2 runs. Talked about the Rookie of the Year candidate. He's tied for first in rookies with home runs, 13. He's first in RBIs, third in doubles, third in extra base hits, second in on-base percentage, and first in slugging among rookies for Myers. 2 ball, 2 strike count. And he hits a shot right at McLeod, who's got it. So that will retire the side, but not before a couple of triples, 4 hits, 2 runs. And for the Rays, they have extended their lead to 5-0. as Myers will come out of the ball game, a defensive replacement, and also a chance to get Myers a breather with another day game tomorrow that these two teams will be playing. Clevenger will be leading it off. Casilla, then McLeod. Base hit for the Orioles catcher, 1 for 2 in the ball game. Alex Cobb has walked 2 and struck out 10, 3 shy of his high of 13 Ks that we talked about earlier. For Cobb, 2-0, 2.04 ERA coming in against the Orioles has not hurt any of those numbers, shutting him out on 3 hits. Orioles have left 2 in scoring position in the ball game. Back in the first inning when they got a couple on, and in the 6th, Jake McGee going to get up to warm up. Flamethrower in the bullpen for the Rays. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Pitch count up to 97 for Cobb. That's one of the reasons for the bullpen. He threw 106 last outing against Texas in a win over 8 innings.
Hard work getting all those strikeouts.
Yeah.
You know, earlier I talked about how much he loves pitching in this ballpark, and I mentioned the mound. He actually likes specifically the actual dirt on the mound. He told me it's the perfect kind of dirt. He said it'll give when you land on it, but it won't give to the point where it starts to create holes in the mound. That can create a problem for a pitcher. You see, we're late in the game there, and that's pretty fresh for a big league mound. Real happy with how the dirt plays out over the course of the game.
2-2 delivery, foul back.
I mentioned 12 starts this year at home, 6-0. Ray's record is 5-0. That was by a relief pitcher going through a season undefeated, Kyle Farnsworth, a couple of years ago. Gary, since 1916, there's been only 16 pitchers who went undefeated at home in at least 13 starts.
And he got him. That's pretty amazing. Strikeout, Molina puts a tag on. So that's 11 Ks.
Well, you'll see this package of strikeouts. Watch all the swinging strikeouts. Only 3 called. Here's one of them on that 2-seamer. Another one on the outside corner. But you see the variety, too, of the put-away pitches. 2-seamers right there. Backdoor breaking ball. Comeback 2-seamer. Inside 2-seamer. There's the split. Both sides of the plate with the sinker, mixing in splitters and curveballs. Just really a game in which he's made very few mistakes in the middle of the plate, if any.
Alexei Casilla has struck out twice. Number 9 hitter with McLeod waiting on deck. Cobb's delivery to him, and that was in the mitt when he swung.
Yeah,
fooled on the pitch.
He doesn't know what to think at this point.
Steve Johnson will be coming on to pitch. The 1 ball, 1 strike delivery by Cobb. That'll be fouled back. Oriole bats have been held to just 3 hits in the ball game, and they've all been singles. Clevenger, Markakis, and McLeod. As Buck Showalter's team in danger of being shut out for the 7th time this year. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Wow. Two down, 2 strikeouts in the inning. Fox Sports 1 starts off your Sunday mornings with a show everyone's talking about. Fox NFL Kickoff. The guys get you the latest news notes from around the league. Then it's America's #1 pregame show that takes you right up to kickoff with previews and analyses of all the big games. Get more football tomorrow beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1. You can find Fox Sports 1. Go to your provider. FoxSports1.com will tell you where to go. Here's Nate McLeod. McLeod has single, 1 for 3 in the ball game. I'll tell you how good this pitching staff has been for Tampa Bay, and that's how they've lived, as they usually do off their pitching. They've got 15 shutouts, which in this day and age is a big number. Not individual, but as a ball club. Here's the 0-2 delivery. McLeod, he'll put it in the air to left field. The Jesus right there. And another 1-2-3 inning. He's piled up the clean innings along with the K's in this game. 5-0 Rays. And today's telecast is sponsored by Chevrolet, Find New Roads, and by Bayer Advanced Aspirin, the official pain reliever of MLB. Gary Thorne and Tom Verducci in the land of the Rays. And Fox Sports supports and is proud to do so the Stomp Out Bullying campaign, the leading national anti-bullying organization for kids and teens in the U.S. Stomp Out Bullying focuses on preventing bullying and digital abuse, educates against racism and hatred, deters violence in schools and online, and helps at-risk students. To learn more, go to StompOutBullying.com. Steve Johnson comes on to pitch. Rodriguez worked an inning. 2 runs, 4 hits, no walks and a strikeout. Delman Young puts it up in the air to short. Hardy. Young retired. 1 down, 8th inning.
We saw Jake McGee throwing earlier in the Tampa bullpen. Right now it's quiet. We talked about the shutouts. That's the one statistic that will influence a manager's decision, that and the save. Pitcher has a shutout in order more times than not, assuming a decent pitch count. They'll let him go out there and finish.
There is McGee meandering about, putting the jacket back on. Steve Johnson against Loney. Pitch is taken for a strike. Johnson appearing in just the 8th game of the year. He's made 1 start. He's worked 13 innings. High ERA 7.62. That is in there for a strike. So Gonzalez, the Orioles starter, 3 runs, 2 hits over 6 innings. He's the pitcher of record there, and of course Cobb on the mound for the Rays. Johnson will bounce that one to the backstop. 1 ball, 2 strike count. That is Mike Belfiore, just called up. The left-hander joined the Orioles today in light of the 18-inning ball game last night. As he mentioned earlier, 2 pitchers called up to help out. Zach Britton, the other, fouled away. One-two delivery on the way. Center field may fall in. It does. Base hit Loney. Barry Thorne, Tom Verducci here, and Tom, for the Orioles, we talked at the beginning about the sense of urgency. I mean, a couple of losses, first 2 games of this 4-game set, big.
Yeah, the urgency just got a lot worse. When you're not swinging the bats, and the Orioles have not this month, the last thing you want to see a pitcher on top of his game, and that has been Alex Cobb throughout this game. I mean, this is the worst, the imperfect storm for the Orioles, the way they're swinging the bats, and to see the kind of stuff that Cobb brought to the mound today.
Great news for Tampa Bay, though. Cobb right now, and maybe for the whole season, has been their best pitcher.
I agree with you. You know, David Price gave them only 15 outs previous night. Wasn't really on top of his game. Has been a little more inconsistent than we've seen David Price in the past. Alex Cobb has just been on the mark for the majority of the season.
There's the chopper by Molina. Hardy, 1. Casilla, 2. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. For the Orioles, they are down in this ball game to 3 outs to work with. Saturday, presented by Geico, continues on Fox Sports 1. Louisiana Monroe trying to upset the 20th ranked Baylor Bears in Waco. Then on Fox, the 23rd ranked Arizona State Sun Devils. They head to Palo Alto to battle a 5th ranked Stanford Cardinal. The only game of the day that matches 2 of the top 25. Full day of college football continues later today on Fox Sports 1. Find Fox Sports 1 on your provider. Go to foxsports1.com now. Here's Cobb. He's going for the complete game shutout. He has 1 complete game this year. He has 1 complete game shutout in his career. Manny Machado will lead it off. Davis and Jones to follow.
Well, he's been so good. The last out of the last inning, the fly ball by Nate McLeod. The first out recorded in the air throughout the course of this game by Alex Cobb.
And Machado will take the pitch. That is on the corner for a strike. 12
strikeouts, 11 ground ball outs. I mean, you could have played this game in the lobby of the Orioles hotel and not broken any of the lamps.
They wouldn't have liked that. That'll go to second. Can he do it again? Oh, mercy. Zobrist, there'll be an argument at first base. An amazing effort even to have a play, much less get the out, and he does. Buck Showalter is on his way out.
Yeah, I thought maybe Machado beat this one out. Great range by Zobrist. Arm strength here without having to set his feet. Well, looks like maybe he did get him.
Wayne Kirby, first base coach, started the argument with Tim Wilkie. And Buck Showalter coming out to have a word as well.
I think he got the call right.
Now again, Tom, let's use this as an example. Video replays in effect. Whoever it's going to be upstairs or in New York is looking at this. It's got to be clear that the call was wrong before it's overturned. If you look at this, is this a play you would overturn if you are the video replay judge?
Is it a play that you would challenge as a manager? I guess so. Here it is again. One more look.
He was out.
I think he was out. I think the call was correct. I think only Alex Cobb has had a better day than Tim Welke.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what the rules are when the replay system, the expanded replay system, is put in place for next season. Still a work in progress as far as the details.
Here's Chris Davis, and he will take the pitch outside for a ball. Davis 0 for 3 in the ball game. A 5-0 lead for the Rays. The Orioles on the year have been shut out 6 times. Alex Cobb, after his career second complete game shutout, the other one came against Oakland last August 23rd when he gave up 4 hits, a couple of walks. He had 8 strikeouts in that game through 113 pitches. He's thrown 113 pitches right now in this game. Ooh, that may have hit him in the face. Davis had one bounce up on him there.
He's trying to hook an outside breaking ball, backdoor breaking ball, hits the plate, comes up maybe on the arm right there. It seems like ever since the Rays gave Alex Cobb those 2 tack-on runs, he has gone into extreme attack mode. Really a guy you can tell can see the finish line and is attacking hitters.
1-2 delivery will miss outside. Cobb, 2011, pitched only 9 games. Then last year he played at AAA, got called up, had 23 starts last year, went 11-9. Ball put up in the air the other way. The Jesus trying to find it in that roof. Can't. And it falls in. It'll roll all the way to the wall. Davis on his way to third base. And you could see DeJesus struggling with that right from the get-go. And Davis will end up with a triple.
And remember, he spent most of the year with the Cubs. Not quite as familiar here. Actually played here as a visiting player with Kansas City for years, but you're absolutely right, Gary. Had trouble with this ball. It seemed like all the way. Never was really camped under it, tracking it well. Chris Davis, he knows that's an out. All of a sudden, he sees the left fielder having trouble with it, and it's time to turn it on.
Now, Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, will come out. There's that roof that's so hard. If you don't find it initially, you're probably not going to find it. And if you do find it initially and you take your eyes off it, you're probably not going to find it again. It's real tough. You got to see it off the bat, and you got to stay with it.
And that ball was up there a long way, a long time, with tremendous spin on it from the left-handed hitting Davis to the left field. He's able to laugh about it, up 5-0.
Yeah. Chris Davis gets his 4th major league triple, and first one he's had since back with Texas back in 2009.
Meanwhile, the Orioles trying to get their first run across the plate in 20 innings.
And Adam Jones with one away will try to get it done. Bullpen's ready if needed. They've got the closer, Fernando Rodney, throwing down there. Jones 0 for 2 and a walk in the ball game. Cobb, that's going to be a base hit, and the Orioles are on the board. So Jones gets the RBI single, and real tough for Alex Cobb that he will lose the shutout because of a ball lost in the roof that should have been an out, and the Orioles take advantage of it, and that'll be it for Cobb. But he certainly did more than his fair share in this ball game, and both these teams were looking for starters to take them deep. Cobb did exactly that, as he works 8 1/3 innings, surrendering 5 hits, 12 strikeouts, 2 walks, and so far only 1 run.
But taking the ball deep into the game, into the 9th inning of this game after an 18-inning game in a September pennant race, 9 days left in the season. That's the name of the game, and Alex Cobb, job well done today.
And kind of a surprise that Joe Madden has gone to his closer, Fernando Rodney, to finish the game off. This is not a safe situation.
September baseball, take nothing for granted. He did throw 2 innings yesterday, but only 25 pitches.
Orioles with a runner at first base, a run in, 1 run on 5 hits in the ball game. Nick Markakis has had a single, 1 for 3. Jones picking up the RBI is over there at first base. Adam Jones now with 106 runs batted in. He's 3rd in the American League. Rodney's pitch will be taken. 2-0. We're looking to see how much Rodney had been used here in September. He worked on the 11th, 12th, and 13th for an inning. Then was off until the 18th for an inning. Then worked yesterday for the 2 innings. So not extended use by Rodney, but still a situation with 2 games left in this series where kind of a surprise he would be coming in. Two ball, 1 strike count. Markakis, Hardy waiting. Jones will go to second base. Escobar's got it, but Jones running. The only plays at first. Markakis retired, 2 down. Time for our Burger King play of the game, brought to you by Burger King, where taste is king.
Well, 5th inning after a couple of walks. Full count to Desmond Jennings. Gil Gonzalez missed with the inside fastball, and Desmond Jennings made him pay. Scoreless battle until that one swing changed the complexion of this game.
2 down, runner at second. Tampa Bay 1 out away from their 82nd win. Hardy has struck out twice and grounded out. And for the Orioles, they'll have to hope for some help as they could fall further behind in their chase for the wild card. 2.5 games out, coming in tied with Kansas City, behind Texas, which is a half game behind Tampa Bay and Cleveland. Rodney, 1 ball, 1 strike count. He'll be up high. Jones on at second base. And Hardy trying to keep it alive for the Orioles. Rodney's gone 15 out of 19 in his save situations. Again, this is not a save situation. Just finish it up. He'll miss away. He's been known to make closings interesting. Even in save situations, generally there's at least 1, if not 2 runners on before Rodney closes out a game with walks or base hits or something. One delivery. Hardy down to third base. Longoria the charge. Pick up. Ball game over. In the 9th inning, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. Tampa Bay gets a 5-1 win over the Orioles. And in doing so, they have taken the first 2 games of the series. Cobb wins it. Gonzalez to lose it.
Yeah, really important win for Tampa Bay after the 18-inning epic last night. First time in a month they've won on back-to-back days at home. After really alternating wins and losses for the entire last week, they finally can feel like they've got some momentum, and Alex Cobb delivered it.
And now Tampa Bay has won 9 of the last 11 games they have played against the Orioles on the season. Cobb's 10-3, Gonzalez is 10-8, the 2 starting pitchers. And a big win for this ball club. 2 hours and 51 minutes, 23,835 on hand. Fox Sports 1 starts out your Sunday mornings with a show everybody is talking about, Fox NFL Kickoff. Then it's America's #1 pregame show that takes you right up to kickoff. So get more football tomorrow beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern only on Fox Sports 1. Tonight on Fox, the 23rd ranked Arizona State Sun Devils battle the 5th ranked Stanford Cardinal. Only game of the day where you've got 2 top 25 teams going at it. Just part of a great day of college football on Fox and Fox Sports 1. For more information on today's game and the latest in Major League Baseball news, log on to foxsports.com on MSN, the world's favorite sports site. For Tom Paducci and all of our crew, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Adieu.